Welcome to another installment of the Mastercam Studio at ProtoTek. This exclusive video series features the exceptional functionality found only within Mastercam, the #1 most widely used CAM software in the world. Here's the topic of today's video.
Today we're going to take a look at feed control zones in multi-axis. So if you're a multi-axis user, we're going to see how we can optimize our feed rates to get around them tricky multi-axis parts. Let's go ahead to my screen and take a look at my part. So on my screen, I picked a blade feature for this because it has a lot of different rolling radiuses on it, and it also has a sharp edge on this corner. And when we're cutting in multi-axis, these situations can create unique issues for us in the machine. So in this exercise, we're going to show how you can control the feed rates all the way around them sharp edges to them large rolling edges. So in my tool path here, I have a unified tool path. And inside of the unified tool path, we are going to have a feed rate control option here. So a simple left click on feed rate control will get us into this page. Now this page has a lot of options, and we're going to start at the top option, the first cut feed rate percentage. So what this is for is this is for only the first cut into that feature. So in this case here, I have 10%. So let's go ahead and take a look at this running on this part. Now all I have is a parallel tool path on there that's going to keep on going around this blade feature. So if we look at our back plotter here, we can expand this out and we can stay into details. And what this details is going to give me is this is going to give me all the information on the cut. So as we start to cut this, if I scroll down here a bit, we're going to see a feed rate value here and a feed rate of 10 inches a minute. Now I have this part programmed at 100 inches a minute, but I told Mastercam to give me 10% feed rate on that first cut in the case that we're cutting extra material so we don't hurt our tool. So as we go around here, you're going to see a feed rate of 10 inches per minute. And as soon as we complete this first loop, now we're going to go into the next cut where we're going to go to our feed rate of 100 inches a minute. So that is kind of the first parameter here of where this will come into play. Now if I go back into this same tool path here, we are going to have a tool contact based feed rate optimization, and we can set a minimum feed rate. Now what this is doing is this is determining where it's cutting on the flute of the ball end mill, and it's going to adjust your feed rate accordingly. Now for example on this, I made a little bit of an illustration here so we can see. So in this case here we have, let's say, a 1/2 inch ball end mill. Now as the tool contact point moves towards the tip, the feed rate is going to decrease because we can't probably control all of that feed at that tip. We want to slow it down to give that tool a little bit more better use down on that tip of that tool. So as you can see here, as we're closer to the actual diameter of the tool, we're going to get probably 100% of our feed rate. As we start to decrease on our contact point, our feed rate's going to be altered. Our second situation here is going to be another unique situation would be feed control zones. So this is the next option here, and this is turned on and off with this switch here. Now what I do is I have a geometry pick, and what I have in this part here is I have a big hole in the part. Now I don't want to take my time in the machining cycle to go ahead and feed through them zones where there's really no material there. So what this is allowing me to do is increase the feed rate as we're going through that zone with no material in it. And simply you just select the edges. You can also put surface patches over if you would like and pick the surface patch. In this case here, I have my edges on the inside of that pocket selected. And I give it an inside feed rate of 500%. Or when I'm inside of that zone, if you would, I'm going to be going at 500 inches a minute. When I'm outside of that zone, now I'm going 100 inches a minute, what I prefer to be cutting around that part. So as we go ahead and look at this one in back plot, you're going to notice that we're going to have a change in feed rate. So I'm going to go ahead and get to that zone here, and we'll work our way around. Now as my tool comes back, we'll take a look at the feed rate option again. Right now I'm going 100 inches a minute. And here comes my tool around. So we're going to be getting into this feed control zone that I set. And now you're going to see that my feed rate goes to 500 in here. And as it gets past that zone, now we're going to be back to 100 inches a minute. So that allows your machine to speed up in them areas where we're not necessarily putting a cut, or where I want to just speed up in them zones. So a great little option there to save a lot of time on these complex parts. And the third option here is going to be in this third tool path. Now this one here is really going to have full say on how you're outputting feed rates depending on the geometry of the part. So if we look at this, we have the first option up on top. That's a flat surface. At a flat surface in this case, I'm saying let's go 100% of my feed rate, or 100 inches a minute in this example. The next one down, we have a radius. Now this is kind of shows a picture of a bigger radius, and then a picture below that of a small radius. This is the range. So I say in this range of, in this case, a 1/2 inch on the high side and 200 thousandths on the low side, you can alter my feed rates in between there from 50% to 25% of my actual feed rate. So as we're going along this blade feature, you're going to see that it's going to pick up all of these radiuses in that part, and it's going to be altering my feed rate as we go through with these percentages that I have set here. And then the last option is sharp. This is a sharp corner. What do I want to do on the sharp corner? I want to go down to 10% of my actual programmed feed rate. Now, why would you want to do this? In any situation, in a multi-axis machine, your axes or your rotaries are your weak link in this whole process. So when we're trying to get around a square corner, we don't want to be going full feed rate. We want to slow everything down so we can get a nice consistent cut around that corner, since sharp corners are a tricky transition for us. And then last but not least, if you decide to go even further with controlling your feed, there are linking feed rate controls on the right hand side that you can utilize for different linking, blend splines, getting around the part, linking from end of the cut to the beginning of the next. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one with these parameters turned on this part. And we're going to take a look at the same thing. So we're going to be in back plot again, and I'm going to get this kind of up on the part here a little bit. So let's go ahead and work this around, and we're going to start to see our feed rate. So now you're seeing a feed rate right there of 98.49. As I go, you're going to see my feed rates are altering as I'm going because of them parameters that I set in there, and it's reading all of that data off my model, seeing what the radius is and where I am in them percentages. So as I get to a sharp corner here, you're going to notice that we slow down. Now I'm down to 10 inches a minute. Now that's a sharp corner. I told it 10% of my feed rate on a sharp corner, and that's where it picked it up. So as you can see, this is a great option. This can be as important as anything to make them multi-axis machines run nice and smooth around these weird transitions that you do get on some of these multi-axis parts. A little bit more information here. So do these surface-based feed rate calculations work on everything? No, they don't. So when you're in the multi-axis tool path, in the curve strategies, surface strategies, and plane row strategies, you're going to see on the screen there of what will actually output these options or open them up for your selection. So make sure you take note of them when you're going to process this and try to use feed rate control zones. Thanks for watching my video. I think this is one of the more important things in multi-axis that a lot of people don't understand how to use, and I certainly hope you go back and start implementing these into your multi-axis programming. And as always, thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Check back monthly. We have monthly new videos going on there. And as always, utilize Mastercam to make better parts faster. And thank you.